So here comes a very important question. How does an essential oil work in the body? Why does it work? Well, the first thing you need to understand, there's 3 ways on how you can consume or use an essential oil. You can use it topically by putting it on your skin. You can put it in the air and smell it through your nose, for example. That's aromatherapy. Or you can take it internally by putting it under the tongue or putting it in your water or your food and drink it. So these are the 3 ways: topical, aromatic, and internal. Now, in Europe, we have distinguished the essential oil bottles for the aromatic and topical use. These are the regular bottles, and those for internal use you call plus oils in Europe. So we have peppermint plus, which is for internal use, and we have a regular peppermint, which is to smell and put on your skin. Good. So now that you understand the 3 ways, these are 3 schools, 3 philosophies that we have since over 100 years. It's called the German school, the English school, and the French school. The French school being the most aggressive, meaning that you can use oils topically, aromatically, and internally. So now you understand the 3 different ways. But now, how do they work in the body? We know that the essential oils are really, really strong extracts of plants, right? You can make herbs out of plants, but you lose all the water and they're not that active like when they're still moist with water. So the essential oil is a distillation most of the time where you get really, really a strong plant juice. And that strong plant juice is called an essential oil. Now, when we look inside of our body, we find a lot of receptors. So what does that mean? We have keys that go in a keyhole, and when you turn, then it's going to open the door or it's going to completely close it. Right? That's what you do at night to close your door. The same way we have receptors, the keyholes in our body, and we have keys, the plant material. So when you take a lemon oil or peppermint oil or lavender oil, it has 200-300 keys inside that oil. And it will go to these receptors inside your body, in your brain, in your nerves, in your organ systems. And when it goes there, it either creates an action or it blocks the action. And this is one way of how essential oils work in your body. Now, modern medicine, pharmaceutical industry has taken advantage of that knowledge that has existed for thousands of years. And what they do, they take, for example, lavender. They check out scientifically what is the key in lavender that goes to a receptor in the brain that makes you tired and brings down your anxiety, makes you more calm. And then they create a drug called benzodiazepine or Valium, for example, or Xanax. These are the modern names for these drugs, right? But they found them because lavender was doing the same thing. So they looked at lavender in this case, or valerian, or lemon balm, different melissa, different flowers and different plants that were going to these receptors. And then they copied it by creating a synthetic analog, we call this, a similar structure synthetically, and that's given to you as a medicine, as a modern medicine. But when you go back thousands of years, they didn't have a pharmaceutical industry. So they would use these plants the way they were intended to. God created the human body and the plants to work together. And so also the same thing with the hemp plant, CBD. We are full of CB receptors. And so CBD will go to these receptors and make something happen in our body. And so does every single plant. And these receptors go up and down depending on whether you need more or less of those in that given time. So your body is like very fluent. It changes constantly depending on what you need. And those plants, these essential oils and other plant extracts can really work very well with your body. So that's one way of how that works in your body. Another way that essential oils work in your body, you have some oils, when you smell them, it opens up your airway. I mean, I'm thinking of peppermint, spearmint, wintergreen. There's a bunch of oils that do that. Well, when you open up your airways, you open up your lungs basically, you have more air that you can breathe. So you have more oxygen that comes into your body. And that more oxygen can make your body work much better. Let's think about an athlete that is running in the Olympics, right? The more oxygen this athlete has in the lungs and in the body, in the blood, the more faster he can run, the higher he can jump and all that. So essential oils have the capability of opening the lungs, some of those, and therefore improving the way you do your exercise or your breathing or any of these. And of course, if you breathe well, you have less unfavorable conditions, let's say this way. So this is another way of how essential oils can work, is by just influencing the way you breathe. Another way they work is we know that essential oils go into the cells and make changes directly in the cells. And that can prolong the life of a cell, or it can make it shorter depending on what the cell is and depending on what the essential oil is. And there's a whole field of research that goes into these telomeres, we call them. These are the little end caps of your DNA, your genetic information that holds your chromosomes together. And essential oils can have a big impact on those telomeres. And so that's a new field of research. Fascinating is also that when you do aromatherapy, you're not only smelling the essential oils through your nose, and your nose fibers go in your brain, and then you smell the aroma of the oil. You can also smell with your skin, even if you don't smell with your nose. Your skin is full of skin receptors, for example, the same receptors you have in your nose that are doing the smelling. So your skin can smell. When you go throughout the body, they found these receptors all over. They found them on the heart, they found them on the liver, on the brain, on the kidney, everywhere, which I'm telling you basically that the body can smell even if you don't smell it with your nose, or you don't have the capability to smell an aroma. Your body can still smell and can react to these different essential oils. So you see, there's a bunch of direct ways on how these oils work in your body, but there's also an indirect way. At Young Living, we are creating toxin-free products without harsh chemicals. And we do so by using plants, essential oils from plants. This is what's common in Young Living. Every product in Young Living has to do something with essential oil, whether it's our supplement line, our cleaning household line, our personal care line, our essential oil line, our makeup line, our CBD line. Everything has to do with essential oils. So when you replace toxic chemicals in your house by using non-toxic cleaners, toothpaste, shampoos, stuff to creams, lotion. I mean, just look at the babies. Today, over 90% of baby products are toxic. I mean, it's absolutely crazy what we do with our most vulnerable in our society, the little kids, right? We use non-toxic lotions and solution. We have a whole baby line for that, right? It's one of the biggest extremes I see in the market is the baby products, right? So if you're a mother, clearly you want to join Young Living and use baby products. They call the seedlings line, because seedlings are very small plants, so the babies are small humans, right? So by not using the chemicals, you are making your body healthy. You're not making it sick. And that's the indirect way of how essential oils work. By using essential oil-based products, you're not using the toxin, and so indirectly you get much healthier. So these are kind of the ways of essential oils are working scientifically, directly, but also indirectly by not using the toxins. All right, so what does it mean to spread the word of the way essential oils work? Well, for me, it means a lot. Because as I told you, my best friend was Gary Young, and his mission was to bring an essential oil into every home of the world. And you don't have to take that word by word. What he means is really the idea of bringing essential oil-based products, whether it's the oil, whether it's a toxin-free household cleaner, supplement, whatever it might be, a healthy product, a holistic, natural, functional product into the homes. If we could do this all around the world, people would be healthier. There would be less disease. There would be less war, probably. There would be more peace because people are peaceful and happy, right? And so it means a lot. So Gary and I, we lived together for a few years, and in that time, he was taking my promise that when he is gone, that I will continue the mission to promote this lifestyle, this healthy lifestyle using Young Living products, that we promote this all around the world. This is why I'm so excited to see markets like Russia grow so fast, because I know there was a lot of pollution in Russia. I know you can do so much with these healthy products to improve your health, the health of your family, the health of your pets, the health of your home, and the health of planet Earth. We need to stop destroying our planet. And so Young Living products allow us to move a big step towards all that. So yes, it means a lot. I'm very passionate about that because I promised Gary that I will continue his work and make sure that the world knows about all these products. What is the danger of spreading the word? Well, the biggest danger is the way we tell other people about essential oils. Essential oils in most countries around the world are not registered as medical drugs. Therefore, you cannot use them to treat disease. You can also not use them to prevent disease, because it's not about disease. Essential oils are about health, fitness, beauty, wellness. The moment you're talking about disease, you need to talk to a healthcare provider, to a physician like me, go to a hospital in medical practice, and they need to do certain things to make you healthy again. But what we do in the essential oil world, we are trying to keep the people above the red line. We call this a red line. Below the red line, it's disease. That's for the professional. It's not for you. Above the red line, it's all about health, fitness, beauty. That's for you. This is what you need to share with your neighbor, with your family members. So the biggest danger with Young Living essential oils, they're so good that you will go to your neighbor and say, oh my God, I had this and this disease. I took this lavender oil or this peppermint or lemon oil or frankincense oil, and now I'm healed. And when you do that, it's illegal. And they're going to shut down Young Living as a company. Young Living cannot sell your products anymore because you made what we say is a false claim. You cannot claim things with products that are not intended to be a medicine. So the laws have become very, very strict. And essential oils typically are registered as a cosmetic, which you can put on your skin or you can smell, or they're registered as a dietary supplement, so you can add it maybe to your food or your water, or maybe to some supplements and take it internally. But you cannot make any disease claims or any healing claims with it. And that would be called non-compliance. So compliance is a very big issue, because if you go around and you build your team by telling everybody, oh, lavender is going to take away insomnia, frankincense is going to heal your cancer, sandalwood is going to do this, and lemon is going to do that, and so on, what's going to happen is the government will come and shut you down, and shut Young Living down, and everybody, 6 million people around the world who are consuming Young Living products, will not get the products anymore because you or somebody else was out there in public telling the people on social media that essential oils are healing. You're not allowed to do that. Essential oils are not here to prevent, they're not here to diagnose, they're not here to treat, they're not here to cure. These are 4 words that are very important that we cannot do with essential oils or essential oil-based products. But what we can do, we can support a healthy living, we can support a healthy body, we can support a healthy skin, a healthy immune system, a healthy brain, healthy eyes. I mean, whatever it is, we can support health and fitness and beauty. And that's what you need to do. So that's the biggest danger, is you being so excited about the possibilities of these fantastic essential oils that you go out there and you scream into the world what you see that they do, but you're not allowed to do that. And so you have to be very careful with what you do on social media and what you do when you talk to a public group. But when you're at home in your kitchen, you can tell your neighbor one-to-one what your experience is, because there's nobody there listening to you. So when you have very good experience with the essential oils, you're at home with your neighbor, with your family member, that is fine. But as soon as it goes out to social media or out in the public, you cannot do that. That's the biggest danger right now for essential oils. Another question that I was asked here, I have a sheet with many questions. Another question is, how do you use essential oils in sports, in athletic performance? Now, I go back to something I already told you. I told you already that when you smell, for example, peppermint, it opens up your lungs, you get more oxygen into your blood, and therefore you get more oxygen into your muscles. So your muscle will be able to produce more. And in fact, there's many Olympic athletes and world champions and other professional athletes and amateur athletes that are using essential oils like peppermint to use that. Then also we have very healthy performance enhancing drinks like Ninja Nitro and Ninja Red and Ninja Zing. So we have oils that are really supporting your blood flow in your muscle, your recovery. We have wintergreen, we have peppermint, we have copaiba, we have even lavender. Then we have pain creams, and we have sport gel like Cool Azul sport gel. We have a Cool Azul pain cream that you can put on your joints and your muscle after you want to recover after your sport activity. So I have a whole program. And when you live healthy during the year, this is why you all need to be on Essential Rewards, ordering on the VIP program every single months. Because when you do this regularly, your immune system is better. Imagine you're an athlete and you prepare yourself for the Olympic Games for like 8 years, and then you fly in an airplane to a place where the Olympics are, and you get the flu in the airplane because the person behind you is coughing and sneezing, right? So you want your immune system to be optimized. How do you do that? By leaving away all the toxins. So here we have all the toxin-free personal care products and cleaning products. You see, athletic sports do not start on the field or on the slope, on the ski slope, whatever you do, on the tennis court. No, athletic performance starts in your daily life. By supporting a toxin-free living, it will normalize and optimize your hormone levels, which you need as an athlete. You need optimized testosterone level, for example, very healthy testosterone level. You need to have as least toxins possible in your system, and you need to have a very strong immune system so that when you travel to the Olympics, you're not getting sick. And every time I'm watching the Olympics, there's 4 or 5 or more athletes that are sick and cannot participate, right? How terrible is that? For me, treating an athlete with essential oil, it starts already 6 months before the race, or before the Olympics or the World Championship. And then during the Olympics, let's say you have something where you have to play every day, like tennis or like soccer, right? You need to recover really quickly at night. You need to have a healthy sleep. Well, you can use all these essential oils to help you with healthy recovery of your muscle, your joints, with a healthy sleep, again, healthy boosting immune system, healthy brain, concentration when you need to shoot, for example, in the sport. So there's many ways. And then after the race and after the Olympics, you need to recover. And you can use essential oils, again, an essential oil-based product, to speed up recovery and to decrease injury, basically, of your muscle, for example, by just optimizing your health. So it's not about disease, it's all about health, it's all about optimizing health. So there's many ways how athletes can benefit from essential oils and essential oil-based programs. So a very important question is, when I have Young Living essential oils and I see all these other companies out there with other essential oil, what is the difference? The other companies are probably cheaper. Why? Because we at Young Living, we are having certain things that are very special. One of the things is we do not typically buy essential oils in world markets. Most of the companies that are out there, basically every company besides Young Living, is buying the essential oils in world markets. So that's a farmer, he's building his field. You don't know what the farmer is putting on the field to get more plants, right? He puts probably fertilizer there and herbicides and pesticides to get more plants. Then it goes into the distiller. First you need to harvest. Once it goes to the distiller, you don't know how the people are distilling the oil. When you use a lot of temperature and a lot of pressure, you're getting a lot of oil, but it's very low quality. So if you have the optimal way to distill the oil, you have a much higher quality oil, but you're getting less, right? But it's not in the interest of the distiller to have less oil. He wants to sell more. And then it goes to certain stages until you purchase the oil. And during those stages, many of these oils are adulterated. So what happens is synthetics are being added to the oils to make more oil. We can measure that. We see that they add chemicals to peppermint, to lavender, to lemon, just to make more oils and make more money. And that's what you're going to get when you buy these companies' oils, right? Now with Young Living, it's completely different. We have a process called seed to seal, meaning we are checking out the soil, we are checking out the seeds, the genetic of the seeds. Our knowledge is to how to best grow the plants for any given climate, and then how to distill the plant. There's no other company that has as much knowledge on distilling plants as Young Living. And then we have the most expensive laboratory in the world to measure plants. So we can measure our essential oils to the last detail, where most of the company don't do that because it's very expensive. They don't have the money to buy all the expensive equipment, and they don't want to spend the money to do all the testing. So you're going to find a lot of essential oils that have synthetics inside. We call this adulterated oils, that have pesticides in it, that have solvents in it, that have herbicides in it, that have fertilizers in it, and that have heavy metals in it from the freeways, from the airport. Whatever pollution you have in the area will go into the soil, will go into the plant, will go into the essential oils. And so we at Young Living owns farms around the world. So they grow their own plants. They know how to grow plants without fertilizers. If they use fertilizers, it's natural fertilizers. For example, leftover material after the distillation, you can put that together with some manure from animals. You can make it to earth and you can grow worms in it, and then you can put that as a natural fertilizer back on the field. It has zero chemicals, right? This is what Young Living does. So we're in complete control from the seed to the soil to the planting, the harvesting, the distillation. We do the optimal distillation because no other company in the world had that knowledge that we have at Young Living. And then we do all the testing. And so it's hands down, Young Living essential oils, from the quality, there's no other essential oil that comes even close. And so I'm just always saying, be really careful. When you buy a cheap lavender essential oil or a cheap peppermint oil, the chances of you getting a toxic synthetic oil is very high. Stay with Young Living oils. They're maybe a little bit more expensive, but now you know why. Because on the fields, we take out the weed by hand. We do hand weeding. We don't use chemicals on the field to decrease the weed, for example. So there's a lot of costs and labor that goes into Young Living essential oils. And then all these expensive laboratories that we have to measure, all of that adds up to the seed to seal project. And in fact, in the United States, there's like thousands and thousands of pages created by hundreds of people together with the US government on how to follow a seed from the growing of the plant to the harvesting. For example, we know exactly if something is harvested in Madagascar, we know exactly what person did harvest that plant at what salary. So we're making sure that we don't underpay in the third world, for example, people. We don't use child labor. All of that is in the computer. We know exactly when we look at the number that you see on your bottle, we see all that. Other companies don't. They have no idea what's happening. They have no idea if that was taken illegally or if the people were underpaid, if men get more salary than women. With Young Living, it's all regulated. And it's regulated together with the US government. It's called the Lacey Act, and it's thousands of pages of regulations that only Young Living as a company has that. So it's a huge difference between Young Living essential oils and any other essential oil. So I'm going to look at one more question here. How are essential oils created? Well, there's different ways on how we create essential oils. Essential oils are created with distillation. So what do? You cut the plants when it's ready to be cut. You put them in a big cooker. We call this a cooker. Then we have a steam generator where we heat the water with heat, and then the steam will go through the cooker. And the steam will go through the plant material and will pull out all the compounds out of the plants, and then it goes into a cooling loop. We call this condensation, a condensation loop. And when it condenses, you're going to see water, the steam will condense out, and the plant material, which is oily, will come out. And so at the end, you're going to separate, because the oil is lighter than water. The oil will swim on top in the collection vessel, and the water will be below. The water we call floral water because it also has about 3 to 5% plant material, and you can use this for many different things. But then the oil would take off, and this is what becomes your essential oil. So I would say about 85% of the essential oils are created with distillation. Now, some essential oils, like citrus oils, are created with cold pressing. Like in the citrus fruits, the oil is not in the fruit, but it's in the peel outside. And so what we take organic peel and we press them cold, and that's where the oil comes out. So most citrus oils are coming from cold pressing of the oil. Then we have a few essential oils like frankincense, myrrh, and copaiba, where we take the resin out of a tree. In copaiba, you drill a hole in the tree in Brazil, you let the resin flow, and then you distill the resin, or you clean the resin or filter it. With frankincense and myrrh, you take a knife, you cut off a little bit of the tree on the side of the bark, the outside of the tree, and then the resin starts coming out, zapping out, and it looks like white milk. And when it drops down, it becomes hard, it looks like a gemstone. And then we can put these stones in the distiller, heat them up, and they will become soft, and then you can distill the essential oil out of that. So that's basically distilling the resin. So that's a different technique than distilling the plant or cold pressing the plant. And the last method is to do absolutes. Some essential oils, especially flowers, are very delicate. When you put them into a distiller, the cooking is too hot. It will destroy the flower. So what they do, they use a solvent, typically a chemical solvent, to take out the flavor out of the little plant leaves, the flowers. Jasmine is an example, neroli is an example. So there's very few that they do like that. And then most companies that do these oils, they try just to clean out, but typically they clean out with other solvents. So you're getting an essential oil with some chemicals. Now at Young Living, we don't want that. So the trick we use coconut oil that completely 100% binds the solvents, and that way we can take it out. And now we have a natural, what we call an absolute. This is neroli oil and jasmine essential oil, for example. So these are the 4 ways of creating essential oil: distillation, cold pressing, distilling of resin, or doing absolutes by using a solvent and then using coconut oil to remove that. So with that, I hope you learned a lot, and I would like to thank you. Thank you so much. This is Dr. Wenker from Texas, the United States. Bye.